Alright, so today I'm gonna make a sausage and meatball bake, and what I'd like to do is go over the ingredients. Now, if you remember my video on the keto meatballs, I froze those, and I'm going to use those. I'm going to put them right in there frozen. I've got some mild Italian sausage. You could also use hot Italian sausage if you wanted. I got various assorted peppers off the pepper plants out back. Yellow banana. I got some hot jalapeno. I cut those kind of small. Some thinly sliced onion. And I got some fresh herbs for the sauce. I've got just the plain tomato puree. I've got some tomato paste. You want to try to get this a little bit. This isn't in there. You want to try to keep the sauce kind of thick. Some extra virgin olive oil, some garlic. For the herbs that I'm using, you can use any Italian herbs. I got some thyme, some Greek oregano, some dried regular oregano, some fresh basil, and some fresh parsley. And then we're going to bake it for about 30-40 minutes. We're going to fry some of this up first to get it going. We're going to fry up the sausage as well to get it started, and then we're going to bake it. And then we're going to grate some fresh mozzarella cheese on top and top it with some fresh Parmesan. So let me get the sausage ready to go, and I'll show you the steps. Okay, so I just brown up the sausage. I put a little oil in there just to get them started. Just brown them up on a couple sides just to give it a little color. I'll do about 2 more sides like that, pull them out, let them cool, and then I'll cut them up to about bite-sized pieces. Okay, so I got them browned up on a couple sides. They're not done or anything. I'm just going to place them over here and let them cool a little bit so I can cut them in the cutting board. And leave that grease right in there. And add your vegetables. Go ahead and salt and pepper them too. And I might need a little more oil than. I'm going to let them cook down a little bit. Just get a little color on them. And throw them in. Now while those are cooking, I'm going to cut the sausage. And I'm just going to cut them into bite-sized pieces, about 1.5 to 2 inches. I need 2 hands for that, so I'll cut them up and then I'll add them back to the pan. Alright, so just brown them up a little bit. I got the sausage cut up. Let me take that off the heat for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest of this in with the meatballs. Still frozen. They've already been fully cooked, so they'll just warm up and not overcook while they're in the oven. Spread them out. Don't know how many more I can fit. That looks pretty good. Then I'll top it with the vegetables. Spread them around. Looks good. And then in the same pan again, let's go ahead and get the probably won't use all that sauce. I don't even know why I dumped it all in there. And I'll get the I just want to cook this down a little bit, thicken it up a little bit, and then I'll add the spices and the garlic and probably a little salt and pepper. I put about most of that can of tomato paste in there. You see it's getting there. I also cracked up about a teaspoon and a half, 2 teaspoons of fresh cracked pepper. Now, I'm not going to put the fresh herbs in right away, but the dried herb, the dried oregano, and this is probably about a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons, however much you like. I don't really worry about having too much oregano, so I just throw it in there. I like the flavor. Alright, so I'm going to let that get a little bit thicker, and I'm just going to kind of spoon it over the top and spread it around. And or right before I do that though, I'll throw the fresh herbs in. Okay, so you can see it's getting pretty thick. You just don't want it too runny. I made it one time with spaghetti sauce, which was actually very runny, and all the cheese sunk down into the sauce, so that's what you kind of want to try to avoid. And so another reason, it'd take you forever to cook down some jarred sauce, and jarred sauce really turns out to be a little too salty. I only put a small dash of oh, there goes the garlic, by the way. I only put a small dash of salt in here. The sausage and the meatballs make it pretty salty on its own, so, and we did salt the onions already, so you do not want it to get too salty. So, and here goes the fresh herb. I just roughly chopped it, just gave it a quick chop. It's not finely chopped or anything. Now, I'm not going to use all this. I'm probably going to store some of it and use it for the rest of the meatballs. I didn't quite use all those meatballs, so I'll throw it on that and eat it separately later. So let's go ahead and pour a little on. And spread it around. A little bit more. Just try to top the whole thing, fill in the gaps. And this is gonna go into I got a 375 preheated oven, and I'm gonna put it in there for about 30-40 minutes and then top it with cheese and let it melt. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting, I'm gonna grind up my cheese. Okay, so I've had it in there for about 30 minutes and it looks pretty good. It's all bubbling. I'll bring it out here and top it with some cheese. I grated up that whole 8-ounce brick of cheese. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. If it's not, I have some backup pre-shredded cheese. Yeah, see, that's a little bit of a thin coating. So I just got a bag of shredded cheese here. Top it off with a little bit more. And then I'm going to put this back in just to brown it up and melt it. And I'm also going to shred some Parmesan cheese right before I put it in as well. Alright, that looks good. And so I'll just put some Parmesan cheese on there and put it back in and let it brown up. Okay, so it's been in there about 20 more minutes. I think I might have left it in there a little too long. It did brown up on top. It looks pretty good. I'm going to let that cool for a little bit before I serve it up. I'm also going to have it with a side salad as well. So I'm going to get that together and we'll serve it up once it cools off a little bit. Okay, so I let this sit for about 20 minutes or so. We're just going to dig into it. Take out a small portion. I'm not going to eat too much of this. I have an antipasta salad there. It's got a lot of meat on it too. So there's the sausage. Here's a meatball. We can break open a meatball and see how they look on the inside. So I think it turned out pretty good with the extra cheese. I like the extra cheese on there, so I'm glad I added that. So there it is, sausage and meatball bake with peppers and onions. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a try, and thanks for watching.